The topic is the Korean War and civil rights, and we're talking to Dr. Charles Kimbrough. Dr. Kimbrough, let's move you into your collegiate education. As a matter of fact, I think that you've already indicated that there was never a real tradition among your family, being a rural family, to think in terms of education, especially higher education. How did you become involved in higher education?
Well, after finishing grade school, I wanted to go to high school and told Papa that I did. And he reminded me that somebody had to stay there to help on the farm. And of course my two older brothers had left. And I looked around for somebody and I only saw myself. And though I stayed on the farm 2 additional years after finishing grade school prior to starting the high school. And speaking of the Army, I went to be drafted, and of course because of a childhood accident, I was not accepted, and so I was 18 at that point. So a bus started coming within a mile of our house, and for colored people, or white people apparently, I thought it was a pretty good thing at that point to that colored people should have an opportunity to go to high school 10 miles away. So I got on this school bus at that point and started the high school. And went for 2 years, good student, taking in consideration sometime I was out of school 2 or 3 days a week instead and in school 2 or 3 days. I kept up. In fact, there were people who would say, "Oh, cuz you made the honor roll. You're on the you're doing all right." And after 2 years, of course, I'm almost 20 years of age. And even though I had been rejected when I first was drafted, then I said, well, you know, if I can no longer play football, Tennessee has its tradition of you're out of the game, you get after your 19th birthday. So I said, maybe I'm going to volunteer for the Army. And went to the Army, volunteered, made a good score as I understood, because there was no great demand for soldiers in 1947, war having been completed in 1945. So I went to the Army, was accepted in the Army, in Korea twice, and then after that went to Tennessee State and subsequently Tuskegee. So I was there again. Well, I'm traveling, breaking new ground every time I trod on something, but I'm moving on. So that's how I got to college. That granted me a college education, GI Bill. I had some pretty high sights. Somehow I didn't know how I was going to get there. As I understand it now, the Lord was guiding me through some very turbulent waters, but I was getting in some places that have become very significant to me.
Well, now, how